Reka nongere nsuhuze mwebwe mwese mukunda kudukurikirana kuri iyi ubumwe community TV channel.
Again, I would like to thank all followers who are following us on UBUMWE Community Center TV. We really thank you and we really appreciate all your support. So again, I've come to continue my story of my life, the journey of my life. A tough journey that I've went through, which was not even easy for me uh, or hard for me. It was a difficult moment for me where you can't even get help or you feel too much pain. No one can, come for you. So last time I was talking about my journey from where I was to the hospital. So how I lived in the hospital and how God really helped me or saved me. Without taking too much time, I'd like to start now, like telling you how God helped me and how He saved my life. So I started like where by the time I was stuck at Bazirete, God brought people there. So I couldn't hear, I couldn't see, blood was shedding down. I was feeling too much pain. I was almost dead. I was half dead and I couldn't feel anything. I slept there. So early in the morning, people came and found me there. So my heart was still pumping, I was still breathing. That's why people came when they found me there. They found that I was still breathing. So they had to bring me over to the hospital. So, and I would like to thank the army, the RPF army, because they are the ones who brought me over to their hospital. That was the only way, because other people who were there had no means to take me. So they called over the RPF army and they brought me over to the hospital. So they brought me to the hospital, and I reached the hospital. The doctors started to take care of me. So after 6 months in the hospital, the doctors now started to talk to me because like I had come back. I was in the process of recovery. So they started to share with me my story, how I reached in the hospital, how I was, blood was shedding all over, and how my body was so lean and stuff like that. So within 6 months, I didn't know where I was because I couldn't feel, I could feel nothing. So I was like in a coma. So I couldn't eat by that time. I couldn't drink, only medicines. Doctors were, feeding me medicine, liquid medicines. So it was really hard and tough, and other people that were coming from different places who were injured, others were slaughtered. It was terrible. It was hard for me. So different people were coming over, and whenever I could see them, like I could tremble because their arms were cut off, their legs were cut off, others their bodies were really full of blood, and all over their bodies blood was shedding. That was the time that I came back. My mind came back, so I was able to recognize different faces. I was able to recognize that person is injured or that person is feeling pain because there was too much screaming in the hospital. So by that time, I had not recognized myself. I had not seen myself. So with time, when I looked at myself, when I looked at my arms, I found like my arms were cut off. So I would like to thank God who really used these doctors to take care of me. I know it's a tough and hard job, but some of them are still at the hospital about that time. Some of them were transferred to different hospitals, but I really thank what they did for me and what they do for other patients. But the most important thing, I do thank God because God really saved my life. I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful. My heart is full of thanks. Sometimes I even am overwhelmed. I don't know how to express my joy or my to deliver my the joy that is on my heart. But I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful for what God did for me when people were dying all around me, but God saved my life. So I'm like I say, I'm thankful, but again, it's hard because I was wounded physically and I was wounded emotionally. You can imagine, uh, when you were born with all your joints, but eventually after a while, when you look at yourself, you find that you are without arms. It's really, really, really painful. It's like you're out of your vision. It's like you're stuck somewhere in a corner. You think no more, like you have no vision. It's like your life is done from there. And people are like, when they talk to you, they consider you as someone who is dead or who can do nothing. But for sure, this is not true. As you see me, I'm not dead. I'm still alive, and I can do so many things. It doesn't mean that life is done, life is over, even though you have no arms. So that kind of life, that's what I will be sharing with you in the coming episodes. So the life that I was living in the hospital, when I could look left and right, people were really screaming, crying, feeling too much pain. So when I could look around and see all that was going on all around me, so I came to realize that my pain, it's not too much compared to the people that were screaming and crying all around me. For instance, can you imagine to see someone beside you? He has no arms, he has no legs, his head is cut off, he has no eyes, her ears are cut off. Imagine that person, imagine the pain that he is feeling. So when I looked at myself, like my palms were cut off, my arms were cut off, but a person beside me have no legs, arms are cut off, ears, was really a painful moment. So when I could compare myself to this fellow, so I was like, God have mercy on me. I realized that my pain is not that much compared to the people that is on the other side. So people who have been in the hospital for a while, or people who have been injured, who have gone through the moment or the same moments that I went through, they really understand me and they really understand what I'm talking. When you look at yourself, when you focus on yourself in that moment, you end up dying. Whenever people could look at me or could look at the people that we were together in the same under the same roof of the hospital, we were all saved by God. Whoever came out of that hospital, however much we were feeling pain, or we don't care if we lost some of our joints, but God really helped us. God really saved us. So why I'm saying this is that it's because I'm really thankful to what God did for me. He saved me, and I'm saying this boldly. God saved me. I'm saying this boldly. Not only me, but God saved different people in that very moment. Even today, even the ancient days, God saved. So God is still alive. I mean, God is able. God is able. He can do wonders. That's why I'm here to share this story of my life to you who is watching. It's part of life. In life we have good moments and bad moments, hardships and time to cry and time to rejoice. So this is part of life. Life is about plans, good plans, plans to forgive, plans to be satisfied, to be content with what you have, Satisfaction is a struggle where you have to struggle to get what you eat, close up yourself, but also to live a life that God intended for you to live. So, as you see me here, people are asking themselves questions, are questioning themselves, how do I live? Me, as you see me here, like you're seeing me, I do close up myself. So, to close up myself, it's not something easy. Like you say, I have no arms, but I still close up myself. So, I will be sharing with you more in details about how I close up myself. So you're so curious to know how I do close up myself, but it's possible and it's easy. What if I tell you that I do help myself to eat? I do take shower by myself. It's something that comes up slowly by slowly. You practice, you practice, you practice, you train yourself. But anyway, let us talk about my life in the hospital. 6 months in pain, feeling nothing, in coma. That's really a horrible time. So from the coma, it wasn't easy for me, but also to the people around me. Even some of the doctors were like, it's much better for you to die instead of continuing to live in such a painful moment. I thank God when you see me here talking to you. This means that God has done a great work in my life. Me, if I'm still alive, it's not because of me. If I did not die, it's not because of me, but it's because it's all about God. I'm here sharing my story. That's why God preserved me. Uh, Most of my fellows who we were together during my difficulties and my hardships and my hard moments, most of them died. But me, I'm still alive. There's a hymn we used to sing, and it's in 108. It said then, I'm a Christian, true Christian, and I'm a Christian of the heart. So I'm not a Christian on the road, I'm not a Christian in the market, I'm not a Christian where, but I'm a Christian in my heart. We have to be Christians that can help others to come to Christ, and we have to be Christians that are really Christ-centered or can give testimonies. These testimonies can change someone's life. This lady who sang this hymn, I'm a Christian and I will be a Christian forever, I am a Christian. She was passing had she was passing through difficult moments. That's why she was able to resist and to continue enjoy his Christianity even in the hardships. We were more than 300 patients at the hospital. I think you guys who know Gisenyi, you know Rubavu Hospital. That's where we were by the time. We were going through hard times. What if I tell you that right after 30 minutes, we could receive like 4 cars carrying people, carrying patients, like people who are shedding blood all over their bodies. So people who were able to survive from that horrible time, I know we were a couple of survivors, and I know wherever they are in different places. I know, but they are now thanking God. Like me, one of them, I'm here before you sharing my story, and I'm thankful. Because of what God did for me, I now took a decision. I said, I have to help other people as well. And that's what I'm doing today. So I know you guys have different support. You can support us with your ideas. You can support us with different things. So we are here to bring our ideas together, to bring our forces together in order to help other people that are around us. Yeah, thank you so much. And I have more. I have more to share about my story. So if you were in hard times, if you were facing, difficult moments, don't give up and don't lose hope. If I am still alive, if I went through all those, difficult moments and I'm still alive. So don't worry. Don't be desperate. We still have God who cares for all of us. So let me tell you about the journey of my life since that time up to then. So I know you guys are so curious to know about my journey. How did I get to the hospital and how did I come out of the hospital? So I want to share with you about my story, my personal story. That's what I want to share with you. I myself have passed through hard times and hard moments, and that had given me a good experience of which I'm using now to live a life that you can see as you see me here personally. And God has taught me all those things that you're asking yourself of how I'm doing it and how I do live and how I survived. So, do you think the life that I was living in the hospital? Do you think that there was someone to offer responsible for my food or responsible for my clothing and responsible for my life? God could send different people to offer like food to offer us different things. So I would like to take this moment to thank people who always bring food at the hospital, who always take care of the patient at the hospital, and people who they have this kind of heart to help. And there are so many people at the hospital who have no people to look after and to care for them, people who have no families, people who come from nowhere. So I thank God that uses people to come and help all these people at the hospital. I mean the patients at the hospital. These people helped us a lot, and up to now, these people are still there, are still doing the same thing. Can you imagine, like, when you are alone at the bed and you have nobody to even, help you to go take shower, but you ask someone who is just, moving around in the hospital, and you ask him or her to help you and have you some water in the basin, for bathing. And I would like to thank people who give us their time, who give us their energy, who give us all that you give. We really appreciate that. So through the life that we are living, sometimes it's hard for you, and when you going the hardships and you're struggling in life, but again, you need to come up with hope, and you need to come up with the spirit of positivity in life. There is no simple or small pain. Every pain is a pain. So it's you personally who feels it or who can handle it, because you're the one who is feeling it. It's not good to judge someone according to his appearance when it's your first time to see someone. You always see him moving around or in the neighborhood, and you take your step to judge him according to his physical appearance. It's not good. Please never do that, because you've never talked to this person, you've never been in the same experience with him in his past. So it's not good. It's not good. Please never judge someone. We all have different experience in life. So your life is different from mine. So you better live your own life. I live my own life. So nobody created himself. Nobody created the other one. Only God created all of us. So He knows why we are facing what we are facing. He knows why we are going through what we are going through. So it's all about God. It's not about any individual. So God gave us created different ways in which everyone is gonna go through. So I want to share, I want to talk about my own way. So I'm not gonna talk of anybody else's way. So I'm gonna to share with you the way where that God made for me, and that's the very way that I'm going through. This kind of life that is full of trauma, that I was traumatized, and because of the situation that you experience while you are on your way, it makes you go traumatized. There are people who are traumatized in a way that they keep themselves in a private space or in a private place where they don't, interact with other people. Let's say, can we say that this is a good way of being traumatized? Anyway, but there are other people who are traumatized and they go further to traumatize other people around. What can we help such a person? I think the one of the ways to help this person, it's when me and you come together and share our stories and make an approach to him and or her, and talk to him and see what we can help. It wasn't easy for me during that time. My daily life wasn't really good, and it wasn't really appreciating. It wasn't smooth. The hospital was full. They went even further to create extra rooms. People were screaming every morning, and whenever like doctors were taking care of patient. So I was waiting, and I was waiting for my turn. So during that screaming moment, I was really afraid. I could see how my fellows were in pain. I was, shivering, and I was like, when is my turn? And if I could get someone to shift my bed and just take me at the last, so that they don't get to me, that could work for me. But again, finally, they got to me. They got to me, and me too. I started screaming. I started crying because of pain. But whenever they are done, I could come back in the mood and started to laugh and you know uh, enjoy. So the operation, it's not something that it can be done in just 1 minute. When they operate on the first hand, the second hand, both hands, it's something that doesn't take 1 minute. But again, when they're done with that, you come back in the mood and you start laughing. Not because you don't feel pain, but you pretend like it's okay. Life goes on. Like I told you, it doesn't take 1 minute, but we thank the doctors because they were patient with us, and they could take their time during the operations and during you know the situation. They were really calm and so professional in what they were doing. It's really good, and it's really encouraging to the way these doctors did all the operations, and the way they gave us the service, and the doctor turns out into your friend, and he doesn't become rude to you or does whatever he's doing in a rude way, because even right now you can see the wounds are never recovered. Sometimes these wounds blast, and I'm like, oh my god. So what am I gonna do? I'm like, okay, Jesus knows this, and He's the one to heal me. He's the one to bring me to recovery. And I'm like, okay, life is going. This is the truth. This is the reality. When you're facing challenges, I mean, when you're facing difficult moments and you just focus on your own self and you think life is short and life is now done, is now has no finished, you end up going on, you end up, turning into a crazy person, an insane person. The reason why I did not, run mad on the road, it's because I believed in God and I still trust in Him up to now. So when the doctor could come very early in the morning, and it starts from number one, and they're cleaning the wounds of the patients, so you could hear people screaming and crying and shouting. You could feel the pain. You could feel it, even though they haven't reached on you. Pain could start to increase. It wasn't easy anymore. It wasn't easy because I know you guys. You can feel the pain. You can feel the moment that we were in. And I know you guys, you are so good and you have this kind of good hearts to help people in the hospital, to help people around. These people who are always in the operation rooms, these guys are really feeling a lot of pain. So it's a place where people need to respect. I mean, people need to visit or to go and give some help. So wherever they were done with me, my mind had come back. I could feel my feelings were now trying to recover. So whenever I could, whenever they were done with all the necessaries, the cleaning, I could start to pretend and laugh and look at my fellows, look at my friends and laugh and um, make it a day. You can imagine the pain that I was feeling at the hospital, but again, the pain didn't start from the hospital. It started right all the way from the beginning, where I told you, like where you can imagine cutting, macheting someone's my arms, like they hit a machete on your arm once, twice, thrice, for up to the fifth time. It's too much pain. So God really helped me a lot, and now I'm good. Sometimes I even pretend not to feel the pain or not to remember what I went through, but yeah, I'm good. That's why I'm here today. I can share my story with you boldly. I'm strong, and I'm really calling upon, people to please come and join us and help with what we have with our hearts, and to help these people who are always wandering around the roads, around the streets. I mean, yeah, to help them because they also need help. They also need people to show them love. So, without taking much time, uh, my story is still continuing. So, I'll continue to share this slowly by slowly in details, showing you the life that I was living in the hospital. So in the hospital, I had no one to come and take care of me and bring me food and change my clothing, stuff like that. Why? Because even we were not fully secured. Right after this, I will share with you my story after I've come out of the hospital. So I'll share with you my story right after the hospital. When I had come out of the hospital, uh, my life without my arms, how does it look like? So that question you're asking yourself, or you would like to ask me, I believe next time we will talk about that. People who are here in Rwanda, abroad, and all over the world, and you're watching this, you're watching me, you're watching my testimony of my story. You have the willing heart to help, to donate to this program that we're doing, helping people, helping us to help other people. It's something good, and we really appreciate this, and we really appreciate your donations. We really appreciate your heart. We really appreciate your support. What you have to do is to share and like and subscribe so that this may help us and may help other people that we are really helping or we are planning to help. God bless you, you who always watch our TV programs and share and like and subscribe, and I hope we still have more to talk and more to share next time. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Mbaye ngushimiye weho ukoraho buri munsi ugenda ureba usharinga aya makuru. Imana eguha umugisha. Murakoze. Ciao.